Ladies and gentlemen, we come to the penultimate game of round 2 here at the Gibraltar Darts Trophy. We welcome to the stage a Grand Slam of Darts quarter-finalist, a two-time Players' Championship finalist, Hollywood Chris Dobey. We now introduce to the stage a former Winmore World Masters champion, the winner of 7 PDC ranking titles, the King, Mervyn King!
Well, it's been an entertaining evening of arrows at the Gibraltar Darts Trophy, and it's not over yet. The world number 2, Peter Wright, still to come, taking on Michael Barnard, a man who's topping the Challenge Tour Order of Merit. But before that, Chris Dobey, Hollywood, who was in fine form yesterday against Steve Lennon, taking on Mervyn King, a former winner on the European Tour. And we've seen some shocks, some spills, some thrills, and this one could be every bit as good as anything we've seen before, Rob Malarkey.
Yeah, looking forward to this one. Penultimate match of the night. A match that features 2 players at the opposite end, or almost at the opposite end of the age spectrum. King has an abundance of experience under his belt, especially on the European Tour as well. But Chris Dobey, we talked about him yesterday, didn't we? And the fact that he is, you know, a player who's made giant strides in the relatively short space of time that he's been on the PDC circuit. Came onto the scene at the start of 2015. It was a fairly seamless introduction as well. He quickly made an impact, and it was a very accomplished performance by Chris Dobey in his opening match yesterday. Dobey or King to face the winner of our final match of the evening, Peter Wright against Michael Barnard.
First leg, it's Chris to throw first. Game on.
Mervyn King's been here since mid-afternoon. I mentioned earlier during the Joe Cullen match that the only 2 players, when I wandered into the practice room around 3:30 that were in action in this evening session, were Joe Cullen, who was on first, and Mervyn King, who's made his way to the stage at 10:15 local time.
He does like to put in the hours though, doesn't he?
85.
Mervyn King. A man who leaves no stone unturned in his quest for glory at the Gibraltar Darts Trophy this weekend.
46.
3 previous encounters as far as I can see between these 2, but this is the first on the European Tour. They last met at the start of last year in the UK
95.
Open qualifiers. It was a 6-4 win for Chris Dobey, but Mervyn King has won the other 2, both on the Players' Championship circuit. 1 in 17 and 1 in 50.
134.
Yeah, Mervyn King, you never quite know what to expect, which is strange really, because as you said, he keeps his preparation very, very similar.
100.
He's lacking consistency, perhaps in part to the back injury that has plagued his career for the last, 5 years or so now.
78. Chris Uruguay, 125.
Chris Dobey putting in one of the more eye-catching score lines yesterday, shall we say. Let's just see if he can finish the job here. No, he can't, so Mervyn King will be back at looking at 109.
65.
Well, it's not advisable, but that dart was a perfect guide for the bullseye, and I just thought, would he produce the Hollywood moment and go for a couple of bulls at the end of that combination? It would have been silly. It would have been fun to watch.
Double 16 for Merv.
93. You should require 60. Game shot on the first leg, Chris Dobey.
Dobey gets it done on
Second
top.
leg, it's Mervyn to throw first.
Yeah,
Game
just
on.
going back to that win yesterday for Dobey. I spoke to him before his match against Steve Lennon. He said it was one of the worst possible draws that he could have had against a man who made the final on a
108.
most recent European tour in Zwolle. And it was certainly an encounter he wasn't really looking forward to, but he quickly got into his stride and he won it 6-2. 97 average. A couple of 180s to boot as well. A turn of 6 from 19 on his checkout stats as well. It was a surprising scoreline. Lennon really never got to grips with it, and Dobey was quickly in control and quickly in charge. It never really lived up to expectations.
140.
It was a more one-sided encounter than we anticipated, but Dobey's not really complaining about that.
There's been some really impressive performances today.
140.
And I wonder who would sort of win the player of the day if there was such an award, because, all right, Michael Van Gerwen and Joe Cullen have posted the highest averages, but in particular,
140
to the likes of Paul Nicholson,
123.
Adrian Lewis, who's reached the last 16 on the Euro Tour for the first time this year.
I think Rob Gross for the manner of his fight back as well. Although Reyes never had a match dart, even though he
91.
led 5-2.
81.
And he can delve back to this afternoon and chuck in the likes of Max Hopp, who beat Ian White. Dobey looking to double his lead here. Wants double 6 to do it.
Yeah, shot on the second
And
leg.
denies Mervyn King a
The leg
chance
is
to
Chris to
level
throw
up.
first. Game on.
This is what Dobey was up to yesterday, wasn't it? Taking chances at crucial times and eventually posting a dominant scoreline.
140.
Dobey, a man who reached his second
62.
final in a PDC ranking event at the 5th Players' Championship earlier this year, losing to Michael Van Gerwen in a very high caliber final. Dobey averaging almost 110 in that one.
134.
I think it was he would have felt a little bit like Vincent van der Voort must feel tonight if I'd played anyone else. I
Would have been
probably
more
won
than
that
enough,
match.
yeah, definitely. Mervyn ever present on the European Tour this year, thanks in large to the fact he's been seeded at everyone.
86.
Had to go through qualifying a couple of times last year, but 2 quarter-final appearances so far in 2018 for Merv. One at Leverkusen,
57.
the other at the German Open, where he lost 6-5 to Michael Smith in the quarters.
It's a precarious seeding that Mervyn King's got, isn't it? Because being seeded in the
81.
places from what, about 12 to 16 means that you are under threat of being leapfrogged. Right now on the Pro Tour Order of Merit,
15th, isn't he?
15th now, yeah.
There's a cluster of players just below him, though, within a £5,000 bracket.
Yeah, I mean, there is a few reasons why it's not just the top 16. One being that Gary Anderson, who sits at number 9, doesn't play on the European Tour, so that bumps Stephen Bunting up for this one to the final spots. Now then.
92. Mervyn, you
Looking
require
in front of a
132.
Clinical kill. Mervyn King will be looking for a couple of bullseyes.
'82. Chris Uruguay, 18.
No margin for error now.
No score.
First little
Mervyn, you
slip
require 50.
from Chris Dobey. Can Mervyn King take advantage? Wasted a dart.
18.
And he
It cost
needed it.
him.
Yeah, he needed it as
Gibraltar,
well.
18.
So a let off for Dobey, who looks at double 9 once again. 3 outside the wire first time around. He's come inside this time. Double 4 then for Dobey.
10.
6
Gibraltar,
missed
52.
darts at the double for a 3-0 lead. King returns once more, looking at double 16.
Moved a long way over there.
Crisscross those two.
No score.
Well, this
Gibraltar,
leg will
8.
see the averages take an absolute tumble, but maybe he won't care one jot about that if he takes
on the
double
third
4, and
leg,
he does.
Dobey.
And
Mervyn to throw first. Game on.
not a leg that will go down as a classic. It was a very scrappy, hard-fought thing, but Dobey is the man who holds his nerve in the final reckoning. Mervyn King, a quarter-finalist in Gibraltar
85.
in 2015. He actually returns here for the first time in 2 years. He failed to qualify for last year's tournament. Like I say, he had to try and qualify for some of these Euro Tour events last year. He was seeded for some as well.
A good win for Chris Dobey this. He's halfway to it. Yeah, to see him
100.
really have a massive run on a European tour. You mentioned those couple of finals on Pro Tours, and he reached the
97.
quarterfinals at the Grand Slam in 2016. That was when everyone really started to stand up and take note of Chris Dobey. He was fairly late to the game of darts,
57.
for modern day standards at least. He's 28 years old, but he's only had a tour card since
134.
2015.
Yeah, made the quarterfinals of the
95.
German Masters a couple of years ago. He beat Robert Thornton
125.
and Dave Chisnell in reaching the last 8 of that one.
Mervyn Kings again missed even the 25 segment
55.
going for the bullseye.
109.
That will be a worry. Not quite
53.
desperate
Mervyn
times yet
70.
for Mervyn King, but it might be if he can't clean this up.
Well, he's been given opportunities. He's had let-offs as well, with Dobey, again, not really doing too much damage there, but still Mervyn King can't really punish him.
54.
And once again, he's outside the wire. It's not as if he's not had the chances, Mervyn King. He certainly has, and he's looking at the board there as if to say, why aren't you being kinder? Well, that's all you're doing, Merv.
I'm not sure his words were as polite
No.
as the way you've just put
16.
them.
I added a bit of
Mervyn
poetic license there, Chris, I think.
16.
Seething, the King. Can he calm himself down?
No score.
His mood will not be
Gibraltar 40.
pleasant at all.
Yeah, don't need a mood ring on the finger of Mervyn King to know that he's seeing red right now, but not hitting red.
No score.
Once again, he has the
Mervyn
opportunity.
Gibraltar 16.
Mervyn King, 0 from 10 on his doubles so far.
And this is a different kind of attitude, shaking his head before he takes aim at the double. Go inside it, Mervyn, you hit double 4. He'll hit double 8 instead.
0
Make it
from
Chris
10
to throw
becomes
first.
1
Game
from
on.
11. The average is nearer 80 than 90. I'm being polite.
140.
Neither player could seem to hit a double, and then Dobey fires 2 straight in the treble 20.
Well, it's all well and good, Chris Dobey, with the approach plate. He's still sitting pretty here, but there is this concern. It's not been too
41.
convincing. Dobey's average as well has taken a bit of a tumble.
Right. Producing a great tee-off shot, whacking it straight onto the green, but being unable to tap it into the hole.
Ton 40, ton 80 for Dobey. At least this time around, he's looking to give himself
42.
that breathing space, just in case he struggles to find the doubles again. He in turn is 3 from 15.
45.
All the damage done, or most of the damage was done in that third leg. Fourth leg, I should say.
A couple of times Mervyn King in this leg has found himself in the treble one.
123.
He rectifies that with the next couple of darts, but as you said, Chris Dobey has that bit of breathing space. Time on his side.
96.
He gets another go at the double top that he was some way off with the darts in the previous leg.
100. Which require 40.
If at first you don't succeed, try and try again. And now it's double 10. And
30.
the double was continue for Chris Dobey.
Well, if he does come through this match, he'll have to sharpen up tomorrow, whoever he plays.
Yes, it
95.
will be Wright or Barnard waiting
10.
in the wings.
Well, he could do with a double just to settle himself down. Now looking at double two. Potentially could find himself in the madhouse if he's not careful, but yeah, there we go. The acknowledgement from Chris Dobey that finally,
first. Game on.
he's managed to find a double.
Whatever's happening out there, it seems to be catching.
135.
Mervyn King seems to have changed his darts during the match.
100.
How many sets has he brought out with him? There would look to be one on the table, one in the bag, and maybe another one as well.
58.
Trying to get something going. Mervyn King. And let's be honest, none of them have been that
26.
effective, have they?
Yeah, neither player setting the world alight in this one.
It hasn't been in keeping with what we've seen
83.
so far tonight. We've seen some absolutely brilliant performances and some dramatic matches too. This one could end up being a dramatic one, but for the fact
97.
that players are missing doubles causing the tension.
In terms of finishing today, one player who really stood out was
80.
Johnny Clayton, 6 from 9 in his win over Hannes Schneer.
Adrian Lewis was something similar. The win against Mensa Suljevic that we've just seen.
145.
And Ross Smith, of course, was 5 from 5 in his defeat by James Wade. That's not quite a rarity, but it's something you don't see often.
Yeah, the perfect defeats.
Gliding from side to side.
93.
Politely put again, I'd have gone with stomping. Can he ignite a charge back into the tie? Chris Dobey's going to apply the pressure.
180. Revenue require 52.
Well, it'll be 20 with the first dart. It's not. What on earth is Mervyn King up to here?
42.
That's why Mervyn.
Which require 40.
Change of tack, but no change of fortune for Mervyn King. Dobey looks
It's
at
on the
tops
stick
and
leg. Christo.
Dobey suddenly has his
The
shooting
leg is
boots
Chris
on,
to
doesn't he?
throw first. Game on.
Mervyn King trying to change everything here. His darts, his modus operandi. Doesn't look like he's going to change the outcome of this tie.
136. $60.
I've seen Mervyn King flip-flop between two sets of darts over the last couple
92.
of years. Those sort of caned ones that he was well known for throwing for a long time. And another set that he's been using more recently. These don't look like either.
100.
And I know that Peter Wright, who we're going to see next, changes a lot, and Simon Whitlock makes slight alterations. Paul Nicholson told us
139.
grip alteration that seems to have worked for him. But if you start getting involved in having 2, 3, 4 sets of darts on the go, you can get yourself in all sorts of trouble, can't you?
Well, you might need a caddy.
140. Which require 134.
Well, this would be a nice way to round things off. It's not been an A-list performance by Chris Dobey by any stretch, but he leads 5-1. He's 60 away.
79.
Ooh, and he's missed a big number there, but it might not rattle too much in the final reckoning with King on 201. Dobey still 2 darts away.
64.
Hasn't happened for Mervyn King.
55.
Hasn't been as convincing as it was yesterday against Steve Lennon, but the scoreline
45.
may still be very dominant.
137.
Unless Mervyn King can spring a huge check out of nowhere.
Which he won't.
97.
Well, he's left himself
Which
soft
require 10.
in case he gets the opportunity, but Dobey, once again, looking at 5-5. It was problematic for him earlier on. That was a high flyer. That's closer. Is he making that inroad to success?
5.
He's underpitched that one.
Revenue require 40.
Mervyn King has a chance to prolong the agony here.
Yeah,
Which he does.
Leg, Mervyn King.
5-1 becomes 5-2. Is this the start of a glorious fight back by Mervyn King to take us long into the night here in Gibraltar?
Well, he's been on the wrong end of some famous comebacks, Mervyn King. But this would be a huge surprise. Not because Mervyn King's not capable, but because of the way he's been throwing so far in this match. I half expected him to change his tact again and just go 8 double 16 for that
134.
I've been players that have done that in the past, by the way. I don't know if those groans of ooh from Mervyn King, the whispers of ooh, were ironic there, because the darts weren't really anywhere near the targets.
Yeah, he looked as though he was sort of enjoying himself a little bit there, just a little bit more relaxed, almost as if he's resigned to his fate here, and he's just giving it a free hit, playing with the house money and just having a go.
Well, this is an awful start to the leg.
Well, he scored, what, 85 with his first 6 darts.
85.
And then 85 more. It was a good recovery in the end. He's doubled his tally.
He carries on that rate, he'll get a chance to win the leg. He'll be trying to level this off and leave himself a check out.
44.
Strong switch from Mervyn King.
96.
And even in this position, the way this match has gone, you wouldn't say that Chris Dobey's got this leg in the ledger just yet, would you?
No, he's just about
97.
on the darts in this leg, but okay, he's got a bit more of something to work with now.
King's going to be somewhere near him. In fact, he's going to be in front of him.
125.
Could have been a lot further away.
126.
Dobey may well still fancy his chances, although that said, the first dart there didn't do him any favours whatsoever.
46. Revenue require 110.
Now then, Merv. What's it to be?
And what route's it to be? Ah, back to double 16.
Yeah, shot on the 8th leg, Mervyn King.
Well, that was a ball from the blue.
Chris to throw first. Game on.
And there is life in Mervyn King after all. But
58.
Dobey throwing first, looking to just finish it here and now, but he's given King more encouragement with that opening visit of 58, and King has just leapt all over that.
139.
Quick reminder, by the way, I talked about player of the day earlier on. I have to mention Martin Schindler
100.
in that category. Not here in Gibraltar, but has won 2 Development Tour titles in the very same day.
129.
Great response from Martin Schindler.
140.
Following one of the PDC stats men at Okipedia on Twitter, he'll tell you that that's the 4th player to achieve the feat in the PDC of winning 2 titles in a single day.
85.
Keep following him, because I'm sure he's going to tell us who the other 3 are before we start searching trawling through the statistics after this lap.
171.
Be about to come to an end because Chris Dobey has set up 32 with that 171.
Oh, Merv just losing his way at the worst possible moment with a 13.
32.
And Dobey, well, he might have had one or two nagging doubts about his finishing as he sized up this 32, but the fact that King has registered such a meagre tally there might just give him that comfortable room again that he needs, although he's blocked a lot of the bed with that second dart as well.
No score.
It's just a little bit congested on that
135
side of the board now.
Well, this is a shot that James Wade completed the comeback against Mervyn King with at the Masters, but 3 times in the match Mervyn King's gone to combination finishes that have needed the balls out of the 25 to give him an out, and he's missed the entire circle.
He was miles off with that one. Still,
game shot, and the match.
He was down to a finish, but it matters not because Chris Dobey, well, I don't think he'll be reflecting too fondly upon that match when he looks back on the day's play today. But a win is a win for the young man from the northeast of England, and Chris Dobey is through to the last 16 of the Gibraltar Darts Trophy 2018. It's not been a terrifically productive year on the European stage for Chris Dobey. Just 1 third round appearance so far this year. That was in Leverkusen. But after 4 blanks, 4 absences on the European Tour stage, he's back with a bang, and he's back involved on the final day in the last 16 as well. But certainly you have to say room for improvement has to be found, especially with the finishing ahead of that match tomorrow against either Peter Wright or Michael Barnard.
Congratulations,
you've
just seen off one of the seeded players. It was a bit of a struggle though, wasn't it?
I made hard work of that. To be honest, both players didn't turn up. There was a bit patchy, scoring and finishing was terrible. Just fortunately for me, I was on the winning side, and that's all that matters really.
Yeah, you got the win next to your name. It is a very, very difficult section of the draw that you are in. Neither Michael Barnard, who's been fantastic on the Challenge Tour, Peter Snakebite Wright, Adrian Lewis, James Wade, all in that same quarter. I mean, this is, whoever comes through this is going to have to be playing very, very well.
Oh, of course. It's every competition's the same. Every player's just as good as each other. But it doesn't matter who you play, but it's on the day. I'll need to play better than that, that's for sure. And I'll be practicing those doubles. I couldn't hit a double to save my life tonight, but like I said, it was a win, and that's all that matters, so I'm happy with it.
Hollywood Chris Dobey through to the final day of the Gibraltar Darts Trophy. We're going to find out who he faces in the last 16 now. Final game of the night. It is Peter Snakebite Wright, the world #2, against Michael Barnard.